Hello friends. Welcome to my channel. Today's question is, I have an alibi, was at the cafe when she died, but what if someone else was watching me the whole time? Let's get started. When I was 23 years old, I worked in a small cafe in the city center. It was a nice place to work, but it was also really boring. We didn't have much going on there, and so it was easy for me to get distracted. This wasn't a problem until one day a woman came into the cafe. I'll call her Mary. She sat down, ordered a cup of coffee, and just watched everyone around her. She was very pretty, with long blonde hair and beautiful green eyes. So I found myself paying attention to her from behind the counter. I saw her take out her phone and start dialing. She looked nervous. Then, she walked outside, took a deep breath, and then dialed again. She paced back and forth by the door. A few minutes passed. She sighed and went back inside. She ordered another coffee and sat down. Once more. She seemed upset and kept looking towards the door. I thought maybe she was waiting for someone. She ordered a sandwich and ate slowly without taking her eyes off the door. Every time the bell above the door chimed, she looked up, then quickly looked away. I remember thinking, who could be so paranoid? After she left, things went back to normal. However, I couldn't help but wonder about that woman and what had brought her to our cafe. The next day, she came back. She sat at the same table and did the same things. She would order something, eat it slowly, look at the door, and leave after a while. It freaked me out. I started telling my coworkers about her. They agreed that it was weird, but it was the only thing that kept us entertained at work. One of my coworkers, Mike, was a bit of a pervert and said that he wanted to know what was under that skirt of hers. I told him that he should stop being creepy and let the girl alone. He laughed and went back to cleaning the ovens. On the third day, she entered the cafe and asked me for a glass of water. I was surprised that she had remembered me, but I filled up her glass anyway. "Thank you," she said softly. "I'm sorry to bother you, but do you mind keeping an eye on my things for a moment? I need to use the restroom." "Sure," I said. I didn't want to seem rude. I remember thinking that it was weird that she trusted me, but I put her stuff behind the counter and she went out. When she didn't return for quite some time, I got worried. I started looking around for the manager, but he wasn't around. I had never been in charge before and I didn't know what to do. Finally, I spotted Mike behind the ovens and yelled, "She's not coming back. Let's get out of here." Just as I said this, the bell above the door chimed and she rushed in. "I'm so sorry," she said breathlessly. "Here's the money. Thank you for your help." I felt a wave of relief wash over me. No, you don't need to pay for it," I said. "It's okay." I was relieved that everything was fine. Or so I thought. As she walked out the door, I noticed something strange. She had two different shoes on. One was a high heel, and the other one was a flat. I shrugged and went back to making coffee. A few minutes later, I went to the front to see what was happening. The police were standing in front of the building across from us. I don't remember which store it was, but they had blocked off the street. People were standing around talking. I tried to go back to work, but I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about the woman. What had happened? Had she been involved with the police? I shook my head to clear my thoughts and tried to make some coffee. A few minutes later, one of my coworkers, Sarah, came running into the cafe. "You need to come quick," she said. I followed her out to the street. I could see the woman lying on the ground where those cops had been standing. She was surrounded by people, but I couldn't see her face. An officer approached me and asked me if I knew that girl. Yeah. She was just here," I stammered. She asked me for a glass of water, and then she went to the bathroom. The officer looked at me for a moment, then turned away. I felt a chill go down my spine. Why had he looked at me like that? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the events in my head. What if she had been in danger? What if the police thought I had something to do with it? In the morning, I went to work, but it was hard to concentrate. My boss called me into his office. "Do you know what happened last night?" No, I lied," he sighed. "Some girl died outside. They think it might have been an overdose. Anyway, we need to close for the day. Come back tomorrow." I nodded and went home. For the next few days, the news was full of the story, but they didn't release her name or any details. However, there was one detail that bothered me. One of the reporters had taken a picture of the scene, and when the picture was printed in the newspaper, I noticed something strange. The shoe that she had left behind was in the picture. It was the same one that she had worn. Why would she have worn two different shoes? I don't know why. All I know is that when I think about it now, even though it was a long time ago, I still get Thanks for reading. I was the barista. If you like this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.